morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel L. Conant. Welcome to Premarket Info.
Well, it's still tight ranges here, Joel. We're seeing it yesterday. We're seeing it again today. Tight ranges. We're going to highlight some of these areas for you and how to trade in this low volatility environment that's probably going to be low volatility for the next 3 days. And we're going to look at earnings from JOY, from JOSB Bank, from Heinz again, DY, and FRO. Also Lilly trading down here in the pre-market as well.
Yeah, your premonition yesterday of quiet pre-market activity will be coupled with quiet activity during the day came to fruition. You have two important closes here. 1407.75 is where we closed yesterday. Monday's close just a couple ticks above that, 1408.25. And this is where we're trading at the pre-market right now.
It is just quiet here. We said it yesterday. We're going to say it here again today. You basically have holiday trade here. A lot of traders have taken off early for the Labor Day weekend. We do expect to see more volatility next week, but I think this ranges are going to be tight here for the next 3 trading sessions unless there's some major news to come out. I don't see why this market's going to all of a sudden start taking off or start breaking down. If there's no catalyst, there's just no reason because the traders just aren't here. Looking here, though, at the overall market, obviously yesterday's low. I think you've got to continue to play these ranges here. Like even looking at a stock like AT&T yesterday, if you just look at the range we were saying yesterday, if it got up in that whole 37 area again, that's where you've been finding resistance. What was the high yesterday? 37 right on the button. Gets down to that 36.45 area. Didn't quite get down there yesterday. You start finding buyers, but you've just got to play these ranges here.
Yeah, this T is kind of flirting with a dangerous range here. We've highlighted this 36.43 area. 45 is a triple bottom from the end of last week. Got up to that $37 yesterday and also the previous 2 days. Once again, not quite near the lower end of the range, but you gotta keep an eye on that major support, that 36.45 area.
And ExxonMobil continues to find sellers in the low to mid 88s, again topping out just there yesterday. We highlighted the lower end of the range, while the upper end of the range appears to be up in this 88.30 area right now. If it starts to get above there, we know there's huge high-frequency trading resistance up in the upper 88s at around 88.90 as they lean on that lean on that 52-week high and that 89 seller.
And if you're bullish the stock, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to break out over these levels. You just have to be cognizant of major sellers at these areas. You have the 52-week high, 88.91. We're aware of institutional resistance at 89. Just tight ranges. In fact, the lows from the last 2 days were within 20 cents of each other, but the major support down ExxonMobil down at 87.
Let's look at a few of the earnings here from this morning. Here's an interesting one. Heinz obviously pre-announced there yesterday. That's why the stock gapped up. It moved all the way up there to 58.33 off of their pre-announced earnings. Well, they actually did announce earnings here this morning. They were exactly the same as what they had announced. They announced 57 against or 87 cents against the estimates of 80, which they said that they were going to announce the day before. And the stock starts trading up in the pre-market to 58.5. I'm like, why is this trading up? This is this morning. I'm like about 7:30. I'm like, why is this thing trading up on the earnings that they've already announced? So anyways, I actually did get a nice short off up there at 58.25. And I've already covered it. I covered obviously too soon. I covered 56.95, and the stock's traded. I can't believe this is traded down to 55.63 now. So this stock actually all over the place here after announcing earnings, and they already told us what they were going to be. I can't understand why this stock is so volatile here in the pre-market.
Well, you did your homework. You did your homework, and that's why you got to trade. And that pays to do that. 58.31 was the all-time high in the stock. Did hit that in the pre-market. big range for that stock. Yes.
55.63 it's traded down to. What is this is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous range because we already knew what the earnings were, unless they've said something that I've missed in that, but they announced the exact earnings and said, obviously there's some commentary going along with it, but man, to sell the stock off $2 after buying it up $1 yesterday on the same earnings that they've already announced, this seems ridiculous.
Well, it's pre-market trading, and that that's what we talk about, and we'd like to highlight some of the activity in that. 55.42 and 55.38 are the 3 and 4 day lows. So if you're getting into the catch-up activity, keep an eye on that area as well.
JOY reported here this morning, Joy Global. Stock actually traded down. Joel grabbed the pre-market low for you. It was trading lower earlier, $1.82 versus estimates of $1.88. They did lower their outlook too, but this company does make a lot of money, but they're supposed to make $6.99 this year. Man, PE's low on that thing, but I guess the machinery stocks, there are the big equipment makers. They do trade with lower multiples, but 51.79. It's down $1.30 right now. How low did that thing get?
It kissed 50 even in the pre-market. Yeah, and that's a big area for this stock. It has made a couple lows below the $50 level. It did make a low at $49.61 on August 3rd. So below that $50 level, you got to keep an eye on $49.61. Since that rebound hitting $50, we've got up to $52.14. Currently trading up near that area, so look for the range perhaps to be from 50 to 52.
Some of your other big machinery, Caterpillar, obviously, it's trading down, probably a little bit in sympathy with this as well. $84.95. The cat is not on the prowl today. It closed at $86.01. It's kind of a breakdown for Caterpillar. We had this whole run-up thing early August where we had a low from 82.10, and then in 3 sessions we basically ran up 4 points. We're starting to break down and getting to that whole area where we ran up from there, Joel.
If you're looking at these stock to just to be leaders in the market here, it doesn't look like they're going to provide that. These charts look kind of sickly.
Doesn't look that good. No, it looks like that upward trend is broken now. Here is stock breaking down today. I mean, you got great support down at 80, but I don't see a heck of a lot in here. Obviously, we're going to be low volatility. We're not going to see anything like 80, and we're not. But if the trend continues, if you got those swing trades there, I don't see a heck of a lot of support.
Not a lot of volume associated with this move. Kind of just sitting here and resting after selling off at 84.81 for the last few minutes here. 84.81's been the low in the pre-market. We'll keep an eye on that level. Below that, you really don't have a lot of support until the August 3rd low of 84.07. But once again, you got this thing down on pretty light volume and sympathy with the Joy Global. So keep an eye on that, the pre-market low as it makes a new low or as a possible swing area.
Joseph A. Bank, JOSB, reported earnings there too. 83 cents against estimates of 73, so a pretty big beat. But man, they are rallying this thing. And look at what the support this thing has bounced off of. That 40 was absolutely enormous on this stock. It kissed it yesterday too, 39.99. So if you were playing these ranges and you bought this thing at the bottom end of the range, man, you were getting a nice gift here if you held it into this earnings report, because the stock is trading up at 46.29. If I'm looking for the upper end of this range, there's not a heck of a lot in this 46 handle. You do have a few of those highs, but I'm just looking overall, and I think it still has room to even run. How high has it been on the pre-market here?
It did get above the $47 level. Actually traded to $47.97.
So there's your bogey. I'd use that number. That coincides.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of volume though associated with that. Take a look at this gap area that we had at 46.40. Currently trading just 11 cents below that level. 46.40 was the high on May 30th, and that's before you had the big breakdown. And that was after a gap down high. You got a gap from 46.40 to 47.32. I just think that's going to be a tough area to get through. All the people that accumulated this stock under $43, that 40 to 43 range was there for a long time. perhaps looking for some good earnings. This is probably their opportunity to exit some of those positions. This stock got trade by appointment only here. Traded 200,000 shares a couple days ago. Traded 250,000 yesterday. So, boy, a lot of air in this thing today.
Yeah, you expect a little bit of volatility in that one. So if you're looking for volatility, maybe that's the stock you trade. Dycom Industries, which is symbol DY, reported earnings 39 cents against estimates of 41. Stock is trading down significantly on this report. It's trading at 16.20 right now after closing at 18.88, and that would make a new 52-week low if it opens down there, right, Joel?
Yeah, what do they do?
Who knows? Did
Whatever they do, they're not doing it very good. Dycom.
You always try to throw me under the bus asking me fundamentals of little companies and stuff, and obviously we're technical traders here, so we know the technicals.
Well, sometimes you come up with some.
Sometimes I know a little bit of the fundamentals too, but stock is trading down here, 16.15, so taking out those lows, but look at all these lows we had, that 16.60 area.
Yeah, that should be, and that's actually provided resistance in the pre-market, believe it or not. We've kissed the $16 level after the bad news hit out, so I'd keep an eye on that. 16 as minor support, 16.50 as resistance. It's too bad it's really cutting through this 16.60 area. There was three bottoms in the monthlies right there, so until it can get back above 16.60, Dycom Industries looks like they're in a little bit of trouble here. Next major support level, the people that are long are probably not going to want me to say this number, but back in October of last year, we made a low at $14.
Wow. So it got some room to go down if this thing starts to take out that major support area, which it looks like it is. Eli Lilly here this morning in the news again. It seems like this stock is in the news every other day. They are stopping their phase 3 development of, and I don't know how to pronounce this, pomaglutamide methenonide. It's a schizophrenia drug. It's a schizophrenia drug. So they're stopping their phase 3 development of that. The stock is trading down on this news. It was trading down even lower earlier. It's at 44.20 right now. Seems like all these moves, when you fade them in Lilly, they seem to always work. How low did that Lilly get?
Lilly got to 43.59 when that news was announced. You had a low back on that crazy day. You had a triple bottom at 42.10 and 42.12. That'd be a major area. We're still $2 away from there. But 43.36 is the 3-day low. You hit 43.69 in the pre-market. For a low beta stock, the stock has really been all over the map.
FRO reported earnings here too for you guys that like to trade $3 stocks. They missed. They were supposed to lose a nickel. They lost 14 cents. The stock is trading down. Looks like to a new possible 52-week low here. $3.39 here. What's the old low? 348?
Yeah, 348 on July 25th.
So we're trading below that right now. I mean, look at the trend on this one, and now you have this consolidation area, and now you start breaking down here again. Not good from a long perspective here.
No, it's a low price stock. Keep an eye on that 348, and that will act as resistance now. Where it stops at downside, maybe use a nice round number like $3, but boy, this stock has really come down after being almost a $70 stock in 2008. Looks like it's has excellent support at zero.
Let's look at the Apple Google here, because obviously after the whole Samsung thing, Apple took off and Google sold off. Well, they reversed course here now. Google actually is back up, approaching its highs that it made there from 3 or 4 days ago in that whole 680 area. Has got as high as 677 is where it's trading at right now here in the pre-market. And Apple gave back a little bit of that stuff. So for you Google Apple pair traders, if you put that on 2 days ago and the spread blew out the other way, you're pretty happy because Google once again has taken the lead on Apple.
Yeah, there's someone out there looking around here at the 680.50 level. I mean, how often do you see three
Yeah.
consecutive tops within 15 cents.
Yeah.
And that's the activity that you had the 22nd through the 24th. Got to keep an eye on that area. If it could be a seller up in that area, if it breaks through, there's really nothing in the book. Probably will get to that magical $700 level. Coming back on the downside. A lot of air in this thing down to yesterday's low at 664.74. I just want to point out in this Apple, only a little bit over a 6-point range yesterday. 2 days of tight ranges after the winning that patent.
Right.
It's not going to persist. Maybe for the next 3 days it will, but this setting it up. A lot of people thought it was gone after taking out 673.53. Couldn't even get to the major support at 669, where we had a couple double tops. So Apple, another day of a tight range like this, and perhaps it'd be worth looking at some strangles for next week because it's either going to 700 or 650.
Yeah, and either way, we know we expect a couple of days still of tight ranges this week, probably even in a stock like Apple. But I think you've really got to be opportunistic here. You need to take advantage of these initial moves because right in the first few minutes, even like AT&T yesterday, in the first couple of minutes, it had a pretty good range. It opened at 36.77. It's one bar. You can't even really tell here on the chart. It opened at 36.77 in the first 2 minutes, ran right to 37, and then started to sell off. So you have good volatility in the first few minutes of trade. So if you have your reference points and if you have your numbers and if you're prepared, look at the previous day's highs, look at the previous day's lows, look at our S&P numbers, which are on our site under the S&P levels tab on the Premarket info site. Use those numbers because those numbers can come in handy, especially in the first few minutes when you're looking for reference points.
Yeah, but just a few others in the Big Ten to close out the show. IBM is approaching major support here. You had last Friday's low at 194.20. Just drifted down to that area yesterday, 194.50. So major support in IBM. Also, Mr. Softy just trading in this 30.5 to 31 range.
Right.
Just can't get through that 31. You have a couple lows here, 30.52 and 30.59. So we're going to be opening into some major support in Microsoft.
Well, that's our show for today. Obviously, be cognizant that we're probably going to have tight ranges here again and know your levels. And we'll be back with you guys tomorrow.